Hi, I'm Chris Teixeira, Certified Master Baker. This is the CMB study hall, and we're going to be doing the portion of the speed test for the cake. So at this point, you have done your buttercream and your chiffon. So you have the 6 minutes to fill and ice the cake. The 2 chiffon cakes that you make, you will be slitting them, and then you will be using 3 out of the 4 layers to make that cake. So again, the cake should be cool. The buttercream, if you need to reconstitute it, by all means reconstitute it. And so we're just going to cut this cake, and then we're going to get going. So when I'm cutting the cake, I'm cutting it in half. I'm looking only at really what the edge of the blade that's facing me the most. That's all I'm looking at, because that's going to make sure that it's straight. So that's the only, I'm not worrying about what's going on here. As long as this part is straight, that part's straight. So here we're cutting, we're going across, we're spinning the cake. I'm not pushing this cake all the way through, because it's going to rip the cake basically in half. So you want to use a sawing motion. You want to make sure it's level, spinning the cake as you're doing this process. You know, I've gotten back to where I started. Now I start going further inside, and now I've got my way through, and now I can go this way. So I have 2 layers of cake here, and then we're going to cut this other one as well. Again, take your time at this point. I know it is a 6-minute test, but you don't want to be hacking up the cake here. So again, if I'm doing it a little bit faster, I'm just watching what the blade is doing closest to me. Keep going, turning, splitting, going, and I'm all the way through. So the cake cutting should take you, 30, 45 seconds. So you want to make sure you're also cleaning up your area. The last thing you want is crumbs in the cake. Once the crumbs are in the cake, they're not coming out of the cake. So make sure that we're keeping our area clean and organized. All right, I find it easier to do this, the speed test using a bag to ice and fill the cake completely. So I can do a large amount at one time. So again, I don't want to have to go back and forth into the bowl. I still want to control how much is in the back, because I don't want it coming out of the top. But this way I can really ice and decorate the cake rather quickly. All right, so I'm going to start here. There's no airbag. So I'm going to put a little dot of cake here at the bottom, or icing, excuse me. And I'm going to start with, you have one of the layers that's the top goes down. Well, this is how I do it. Okay, so then starting from the middle here, work your way around. You want the layer of the filling to be roughly the same size, same thickness as the layer of cake. I'm then taking another layer of cake, again making sure there's no crumbs. I'm pushing this down. Now I want the filling to come out right slightly. I want it to come to the edge. Again, I'm going to come here. I'm going to start in the middle, work my way around. Again, see, I haven't gone back to the bowl, and so this saves me on time. All right, so now I'm going to take what would have been the bottom layer, so the bottom that was touching the pan. That's going to be my top. That's going to ensure that I have a smooth top. All right, so now I've got a cake that's stacked. Make sure it's level on the top, here. To do the sides, so I take basically the bag and I go up and down. So if I start here, I basically go up and down. And now I can get a lot of frosting on this cake in the time that I take to go all the way around. And I'm going above the rim because, again, I don't want there to get crumbs in the cake. So now you can see I've filled, and I'm doing a portion of the icing without having to have refilled the bag, and I also haven't gone back to the bowl to get more icing. I will go back into the bowl now to get more icing, but if you're doing a speed test, I haven't gone back to that bowl yet. Okay, here we go. This is more than enough now in the bag. Make sure we blow out any air pockets that we have there. And I'm going to finish up the side here. All right, and then I'm going to do some on the top. Again, start with more than you need, and then you can always take away. All right, you don't want to have to be going back and forth into this bowl. So at this point, you want to go basically from here to be scraping off. All right, so You're going to want to start in the middle. The size of the offset is kind of depending on how much, whatever you prefer. This one's a little big for what my liking, so I just prefer like a medium size. That's too small. So we're going to start in the middle, or start on the edge. What I do is I just spin it and I'm just flattening it out. Okay. So we're looking for a smooth layer, making sure it's level, and I scrape. I don't fidget with it too much. So then this side here, I'm going to start going on the sides, and I'm going to start working it in. So basically what I'm doing is sealing in the cake. And if I need to take some off, I take some off, but I want to make sure I got an even layer of frosting around the entire cake. And if I need to go on top, add more. And just looking to get the sides smooth. All right, so now I have the cake basically covered. So now, this may have taken you 2-3 minutes. So you still have 3 minutes to make this cake smooth, if it's not smooth yet. So I like to use a bench knife. It's the easiest. This can kind of create angles, which once I put this bench knife flush with the turntable, it's now going to be 90 degrees. So I can easily, scrape any additional cake off, making sure that it is going to be 90 degrees. At this point, I can also see if there's going to be any areas that need more icing. There's an area here that needs some more icing right now. So I'm going to take a little bit of an offset. I'm going to go back in quickly and just fill in the holes. So I go around about once or twice with the bench knife to see where if I have any holes that are opening up. So again, I'm going to go here one final time, just trying to make it smooth. Take a look, to make sure we're level. Okay. We're going to take our offset, small or large or whichever again you're comfortable with. We're going to come through. We're going to clean off the top here a little bit. Might be easier with this one. So coming in, we're going to come in at like kind of a swooping angle. So we're going to come in, take the top off, and go that way. Again, we're going to come in. We're going to take the swoop that way. Coming in, we're not hitting the cake, it's kind of like if a plane were landing. So coming in, take the swoop off. All right, so then I will take a look one final time, and I can see there's some little problem area, so I'm just gonna quickly go through just the top area. I'm not looking to do the bottom again. And just fill in the final holes that I see. Again, making sure it stays level. One final swipe of this, then one final swipe of the top, and then we're done. Coming down, plain. And there you have a basic frosted cake for the speed test. Make sure the board gets cleaned up a little bit here. And that is the basic iced cake.